Hi, I'm Inkpemi,
I'm Temilola.
I'm Sunibola.
and today we're going to be speaking on how the regulatory framework in Africa stifles innovation. Right. So I'm speaking to people that are into the law, they are people at the laws now, right? So yeah, the regulatory framework in Africa stifles innovation because when you look at the legal compliance system, right? Now, apart from probably the CAC is actually like the lowest in terms of the cost of registering your company, and a few other certifications that that are mandatory but are free. But then when you talk about sector specific compliance, you talk about licensing fee, processing fee, you start seeing huge amounts like 100 million, 2 billion, 1 billion. That's minus the extra on documented facilitation fees and processing fees administrative fees, yes, and even the cost to pay the legal professionals. They won't be enough to even pay the legal professionals after paying all the necessary required fees, right?
Yes.
So
There's always money for the lawyers. Let me just add that.
Oh, but then by the time you finish paying for the necessary fees, how much will be left? We startup even want to pay lawyers, right?
Yes.
So what's your take on this?
Okay, so we see here that in Africa, the laws that govern Africa, like the sector-specific laws, right? We see that sometimes there's a lot of bureaucracy to getting the documents, done. So you would see that it slows down the documentation and the legal compliance area, and then you see that because of that, a lot of startups may not be that initial zeal to go on, right?
Yes.
It's your product, you want to send it out, it is lost.
Yes.
And then because of that, sometimes even the startups may even take longer to I said to thrive earlier. I meant that it take longer for it to launch. Let's say yes. So let's say you want your documentation done and maybe you've planned that, okay, we're going to launch within this period of time. So they will take longer, of course.
Yes.
And then you would also see that because you the startups want to reduce the bureaucracy, they may end up probably bribing or paying some of the regulatory officials some money to just get along with it. So you see that that's a lot. That's a lot already.
Yes.
And then when it comes to like what you said earlier, when it comes to the financing, I think that the financing is ethic. Like some of the fees they have to pay is so unreasonable.
Yeah.
So and then I begin to ask myself that I'm a startup. Where do I get this money from? There are no grants. They are not like we don't have a lot of grants in Africa, grant opportunities. Where do we move from here?
So Sumi, what do you think about this?
So I want to stress the complexity of regulations right, in the tech landscape. We have a lot of regulations that tech startups have to be compliant with.
Yes.
That alone is discouraging, especially for a person that wants to explore the tech area, that wants to start something new. So even with the number of laws you have to comply with, you're discouraged already before you even started.
Right.
And that's something we need to look into. It's something that needs to be addressed. For a tech startup, there should be a limited number of laws. Right. So as long as we want an ethical innovation system, we should also try to bring in tech startups, right?
Yes, like
by
foster their
yes,
not
through our laws, making them limited, not a bit too much, so that they're discouraged to even explore tech in itself.
By the time you're just summons them with legal compliance documents, like what is this?
You would ask yourself, why should I go on with this?
Yes, even just to add to what Temi said about the fees, there are a lot of fees to pay. The processing fees or the lawyer fee, everything.
Licensing
yes,
fees.
and And so there's no proper documentation as to what amount am I paying.
Yeah.
So it's just, although there are some stated fees in the laws, right?
Yeah.
But there are some behind the scenes that you still pay.
Yeah.
And
There is no
yes.
but that's why for example right now, like when lawyers tech startups bring get lawyers for their legal compliance, and lawyers like okay, and the tech startup is like okay, what's the charge, and lawyers like hold on, let me go back and check.
Yeah.
They know what they are doing, because for example today probably this is a particular cost for getting a licensing fee, or this is the particular amount, like maybe this is what they gave a previous client.
Yeah.
And then unknowingly today, due to the fluctuation of the currencies that we have, the issues that we have in Africa, right, the fees have increased due to that particular issue, right? So the lawyer has to go back and check and do proper research to be sure that okay, this is how much we need to actually get you this, get your legal compliance done. So those are problems, right? There's no certainty, there's no predictability.
Yes,
That's a
fee
big problem.
certainty. Yes, just to buttress this point with an example, there's this SEC, incubation program, accelerated regulation incubation program, to bring in virtual asset providers and also digital assets service providers. The requirements alone is a lot. And yes, you have to first of all be incorporated.
Yes.
Then the incorporation process, it requires you having a minimum share capital, depending on whether you are a digital asset provider or virtual asset providers, ranging from like 500 million as a share capital to 1 billion. And the processing fee also is different from the application fee, from the registration fee. Then after that incorporation phase, then you can now talk about the incubation program. That's a lot. Look at the amount of money that a person that wants to register as a digital asset provider, say you want to tokenize board assets, for instance, or you want to be a virtual asset provider, you have to bring in a lot.
And
The
funny thing is that that's not the only regulation you have to comply with.
Yes.
Just to
That's not the only
just to offer virtual asset service, tokenization, crypto, stuff like that. So like this is just a lot. So it's just obvious that the regulatory system in Africa is just it's built to prevent people from coming into the market. It is built to slow down or to even inhibit innovation, right? It's a contrary to markets like America, Israel, that their regulation is to foster innovation, to foster that innovation culture, that problem solving culture, building companies, building startups, right? So this is actually a problem. No, I don't know. I think I did a little bit of research and I discovered that okay, it's just that same pattern of thinking from the colonial era where the role of regulation is to control, is to prevent growth, not to encourage growth. Is to control and keep things under control, like maybe stability or something like that. Right? And then we need that disruption to build the economy. We need that disruption to create jobs. We have this unemployment issues in Africa. We have poverty issues in Africa, and our only way out is for the economy to grow out of what it used to be, dependence on our natural resources, dependence on oil. Dependence. I think there was this I think I heard somebody say that the reason why we have our regulations being so stringent on the cost of licensing and everything is because they are trying to stabilize, for example, in Nigeria, the naira or something like that. And but when you check it, it's not these innovators that are causing the issues with the currency fluctuation, right? It's actually not their fault. The issue is because we are depending so much on oil, no diversification. So there's a need to diversify our economy, right? There's a need to look into technology, agriculture, this innovative landscape, right? So let's talk about the solutions, right? I'll go with Sumi first. What do you think we can do? What do you think our regulators can do, to have a change of mind with the way regulations are towards innovation?
So first, I would say that our regulations should be simple in terms of language, in terms of volume. So now there's this issue of proliferation of laws,
Yeah, okay.
of different compliance. Why not just
Fragmentation.
bring them together? So for me, I would propose a comprehensive law that has the requirements that they
Okay.
need to
Mm.
comply with.
Mm.
Simple, not
Straightforward.
ambiguous, not complex. There are some instances where you have to check this, check that, check that. I don't have to do all of that just to comply with the regulations. Let it be simplified,
Yes. Yeah.
and be able to encourage innovation
Yes.
so that tech startups can come here
Yes.
and try.
So Temi, what's your take on this?
Okay, so I believe that these regulatory bodies should make sure that for the startups that the fees are not outrageous. We're talking about fees like, let's say, 50 million, 100 million. They can be toned down to an amount that is affordable to an amount that is actually affordable for the startups
Yes.
to come up with. Because we know that these startups are just coming now, they're just launching,
Yes.
so they don't have a lot of funds.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there are no grants available at the time.
Yes.
So these funds can be, affordable, like I said, it can be reasonable for them. Then also, there should be certainty of fees, such that the regulation or the legislation should show that, okay, this is the amount of fees they are paying. So they are certain that they are not going to go beyond those particular fees, and they are not going to pay more. Yes,
So
more than what.
unprecedented.
Yes, more than what they've
They
envisaged. Thank you.
Yes. So thank you very much. I think that's what you said, just pertinent, because we should, if these fees are predictable and are certain, and we know that this is the fees or the amounts that need to be budgeted for a particular compliance, right? It will help startups in their budgeting, right? Even when they are even applying for investments, meeting, going to pitch to investors and all, so it's a bit of budgeting, right? So I think we've actually said a lot, right? And if you want to know more about this topic, right, you can reach out to us at Let's Take Advice. Reach out to us on all our social media platforms. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.